Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bear Chats. My name is Scott Cordischi, and I'm happy to be joined today by Brown University senior football player Michael Hoecht. Michael, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, congratulations, Michael. I think we all learned this past week that you signed a free agent contract with the Los Angeles Rams. We're really happy for you.
I'm excited.
That's terrific. Well, Michael, just take us through the whole process. I know you spent months now preparing for the NFL draft. You went undrafted, but you did sign with the Los Angeles Rams. What was the whole preparation process for you like getting ready for the NFL draft?
So for me, it started December 2nd, and I did my pro day training at Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning up in Woburn, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. I got referrals there from people who've come out of Brown. I know Dewey worked out there for a good portion of his pro day. They really took care of me. They knew exactly what they were talking about. They're like a huge part of my success because I think that my pro day numbers, ended up being a huge part of, being able to market me to teams. And unfortunately, when, the coronavirus started going around, my pro day got canceled. I ended up doing that virtual pro day that was all over Brown social media. So thank you to anybody working on the Brown social media. From there, thought I had some pretty good numbers, and my agent started sending those out to teams. We just tried to, adapt and change to the circumstances, and we ended up, getting me in a really good spot. The Rams were my first choice coming into it, and it's funny how that works that they ended up being the team I get to.
So I watched your virtual pro day, and I saw you ran, I think it was a 4.65 40.
That's
and
right.
I saw an interview that you did, Michael, and the woman that was interviewing you was surprised. I mean, a defensive lineman running a 4.65 40 is not something that's very common. I wasn't surprised. I've seen you for 4 years, run with skill position players on this football team. So I know that speed's always been one of your tremendous assets.
Well, I was a running back in high school, so I haven't always been, a defensive lineman. And, I attribute a lot of that to, playing running back in high school, being a basketball player in high school, and then, all the work that we put in with Coach O and the strength and conditioning program here at Brown.
All right. So normally, within the next month or two, there'd be things like rookie mini camps in the National Football League. But because of the pandemic, things are very much up in the air. Have you been in contact with the Rams, and do you know exactly what your plan is in terms of when you might join them and get to work out for them?
I have. So for now, I believe it's going to be a virtual install. So they'll send us very much like we're doing here, like a Zoom invite, and we'll begin to install the playbook. And that begins in early May. And I don't think they have a lot of things on the calendar just yet as far as, if they're going to make up some of these camps or if they're just going to have people, show up directly to training camp. I know for all the rookies coming in, there's sort of a rookie orientation tomorrow. But other than that, I think it's just going to be, especially for rookies, make sure you know the playbook coming in. You can talk about, your responsibilities and your assignments. And then it's going to be an accelerated camp, but, I'm very much looking forward to it. Get to some nice warm weather, see some palm trees and play some football.
Michael, as you and I speak, it is the eve of the CFL draft, the Canadian Football League, and you being from Canada, I've read a lot of reports where you are very high on a lot of teams' lists. I assume you're anticipating being drafted by the CFL. My question to you, Michael, would be, will you be allowed every opportunity to make an NFL team, in this case, the Los Angeles Rams? And if you do not, will you be able to play in the Canadian Football League?
Yeah. So the draft for the CFL, they would claim my rights. And so if something were to happen and I got released from the Rams and not picked up on another team, then the CFL would be my option there. And, I want to keep playing football until somebody tells me I can't. It's one of those sports that, once you're done, that's kind of the end of your career. There's no real rec league football. So for me, my focus entirely is on getting on the best team and, playing football in the best situation I can. And for, whatever team that is, doesn't really matter to me. I just want to play ball.
Have the Rams talked to you at all about what position they envision you playing? And I asked that question for two reasons. Number one, I ran into a scout for the Indianapolis Colts back in December when I was at Stony Brook on Long Island. And he said that the Colts looked at you as possibly an offensive lineman for them. And then, of course, James Devlin, who just retired from the New England Patriots, he played defensive line in college, but made a career as a fullback in the NFL.
Right. So for the Rams, it's going to be defensive line, and they run a couple different fronts. But for me, there's obviously Aaron Donald on one side, and his spot's obviously locked up. So it's competing for that last spot. But a big part of going to the Rams was we felt that they have ample opportunity for me to make that team, especially as a rookie, and that the fit was right between my skill set and their defense and what they're trying to do on the defensive line. And that ultimately made the decision really easy because, they have jobs for rookies and, I fit in really well there. So I'm hoping to be, that 4-eye, 5-tech, even move inside sometimes. And no, I'm excited to, open up that NFL playbook and see what they can throw at me.
Michael, I don't know how much you had a chance at all in your 4 years to talk to James Devlin, but obviously we at Brown Football and Brown University are very proud of him and the career he had in the NFL, won 3 Super Bowl titles with the Patriots. Have you talked to Jimmy, and do you look at him as kind of a role model in terms of what you're trying to do now?
I do, definitely. He retired recently, and it's interesting because the day that he retired was the day I signed my contract. So I sent him a text saying, congratulations on a great career. You're a role model for everybody here at Brown Football. And, he responded with, your career is just getting started. I'm excited to see where you go. It was a really nice full circle Brown football moment. And yeah, if you've played Brown football, how highly regarded James Devlin is. Just within the team and with the coaches and everybody who's connected to the program. So, you can't say enough good things about him just because he's that true football player down to his core. And obviously he changed positions from defensive line. And if that's something I have to do, I can follow right in his footsteps.
One of your former teammates, Christian Montana, who spent this past season at Tulane, signed as an undrafted free agent with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Have you had a chance to talk to Christian at all?
I have. He and I had been talking leading up to the draft. I think he and I were both in the same situation where, we had enough interest that, draft was possible, but, we figured it was more likely that we went undrafted. And so we were both talking to each other, wishing each other good luck. And, I'm thankful that both of us got to end up on teams.
Michael, this past season, it seemed to me, and I'd like you to clarify, that there was just a newfound enthusiasm with this Brown University football program. Was that the case? And tell us what it was like from a player's perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, you could feel it from day one, just the energy and the enthusiasm around the locker room with the new coaches. It was nice to go into a season and, have that brand new mentality to it. And then after watching what EJ did and some of the numbers he put up, it was hard not to get excited. Football is one of those games where the margin of error is, so small that a lot of those games could have, tipped one way or the other. So I think next year, with a full year under, Coach Perry and building his program, that, the Brown Bears are going to be doing a lot of great things.
I know how much you would have loved to win an Ivy League championship, and unfortunately it was not on the cards. But Michael, last question for you. What do you take out of your 4 years as either a member of the Brown football program or just a student at Brown University?
I think for me, from a football perspective first, I got to experience a lot of different playing styles, a lot of different defenses. So I think that really grew and developed me into, a versatile football player. Whether it's a 3-down or, our G2 defense, and then now our base quarters defense, I got a lot of different experience and got to meet some really incredible people along the way. So I think that really developed me into a coachable player, an adaptable player, and will definitely serve me well moving to the next level. And then obviously Brown University is the best place you can go to college in America, if not the world. Just the people you meet and the diversity of ideas and everybody and all the help and the professors, give you along the way. You're coming out with a great education. You get to play some great football. It shaped me into the person I am today. I can't say enough good things about the university.
Well, James Devlin is retired. Zach Diossi is retired. Michael, I can't tell you how many people are pulling for you and for Christian Montano to make it in the NFL. Brown football needs that continued representation in the National Football League.
I'm excited. I'll do you guys well.
All right, Michael, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Scott.
That's Michael Hoecht with us on this week's edition of Bear Chats.